Joining me now is Nebraska Republican Congressman Don Bacon, who happens to represent that Omaha area congressional district at the center of this push by his party. Congressman Bacon, thank you so much for being here. And I want to ask you now, State Senator McDonnell has reiterated his stance against changing the rules today. I know that you have come out in support of changing those rules. You understand Nebraska politics as well as anyone. What are the odds that this rule is going to change by Election Day?
Very unlikely. I know Senator McDonnell, we're friends, but he's not by himself. There's two other Republicans that are no right now, which means we're 3 votes short, maybe 2 votes short. And so this will likely have to wait till after the election, and we can debate about it in the future legislature. And Senator McDonnell, he represents his district, and he campaigned on it. And so I understand where he's coming from. I just want you to know, from our vantage point, standing where I sit, I wish every state did what we did. If every state did what we did and went by district, it would be a much more democratic process. You would get the candidates out to more states than just the 4 or 5 states. The problem is when you're only one of 2 states, it brings in a lot of outside money. It favors one side over the other clearly, and so it causes distortions when you're one of 2 states not doing winner take all.
Mm-hmm. But can you understand the concerns about changing the law so close to Election Day?
Yes, I do, and I think it would have been better off if this could have been handled in the spring. I believe, though, when it's all said and done, it's going to be in the future legislature to tackle this. This came up also in 2016, and the Republicans were 1 vote shy. And I got to point out, we didn't always have it this way. In the early 1990s and before, we were winner take all. And it was a Democrat governor and it was a Democrat state senator in the unicameral who pushed changing it to what we have now. And so a lot of people don't realize that prior to the early 90s, we also were winner take all.
I mean, you've won in this district pretty consistently, even though it may vote for Democrats at the presidential level. Can't you just convince your Republican friends to help President Trump and win that district as opposed to trying to change the rules right before Election Day?
Well, there's definitely pros and cons to this, and there's good points on this. And as I already mentioned, if every state did what we did, our country, I think, would be in a better spot. Now, I readily acknowledge that. Now, when it comes to this election, President Trump called me last week, and I'll talk to his team. If he could focus on what he did as president, like prior to COVID, the economy grew faster than inflation. Wages were growing faster than inflation. We had a secure border. We had energy independence. We didn't have all these Russian invasions, Hamas stuff going on. And you could point to a lot of positions that Vice President Harris had in 2020 that are way outside the mainstream. If we had a disciplined campaign and focus on those issues, I think he would do very well in our district. Mm-hmm. But I think we get or at least his campaign has gotten sidetracked on issues that take him not on the core issues that will make a difference. My job as a candidate is to focus on the core issues that make a difference in our district, and that's how we've been able to win in a 50-50 district. And so it's an RPI of 0. It's not an R2 or a D2. It's evenly split down the middle. And so you got to really work hard in this district to win.
And this is my last question on this, because I know that we have other stuff that we need to talk about. But I wanted to put up some of your op-ed in the Wall Street Journal from earlier this month. And you said, we live in the greatest country in the world. To maintain our greatness, we need more focus on consensus building and less on hating our fellow Americans. We need a country over party agenda. We need the moral courage to do what's right. We need more statesmen and fewer partisans. I want to go back to what you told me at the beginning of this interview, that you were hoping Republicans signed on to it because it wouldn't, or Senator Graham, I should say, said that one of the reasons he was trying to convince your fellow Republicans was just because it would hurt Kamala Harris's campaign. Doesn't that run contrary to what you're suggesting in this op-ed of trying to fight through the partisanship when it comes to issues like these?
You know, people have different reasons for the winner-take-all or opposing it. I would just tell you my key point is one side of the aisle is getting $7 million added into the Omaha area, and the other side is getting 0. And so it really creates a distortion. If you're from one party, you love it because you have a huge cash cow of money coming in, and the other party has very little of that coming in. So it probably affects 3 to 5 races down ballot on our side. That's just being honest there. Again, I think the statesman thing would be to say, we should all do what Nebraska is doing, because I think it's a better way to go. But it's a hard thing to get that to happen. The Constitution gives us to the states to decide. And so Nebraska in 1992, I believe it was, don't quote me on the exact date, it was in the early 90s, decided to go from winner take all to go by district. And being one of those two states, it has some consequences, and we feel it on our side of the aisle. So I'm just being candid with you there. You know what triggered me to write that editorial? I went to a state party meeting. I said, hey, I'm not a Republican first. I'm a Christian first. I'm an American, then I'm a Republican. And I was taken back at some of the anger out there. Well, we want you to be Republican first. And I said, that's this culture that we're in today of you got to win at all costs, and that's more important than being right or doing the right thing. I think that hurts our country, and I see that around. It's more important to win than to do the right thing, and that's not good for the country.
Okay, let's move on and talk about other topics. I appreciate you answering all the questions on that. I specifically want to talk about your trip to Ukraine. You recently met with President Zelensky. You talked about how he wants clearances to use weapons to strike inside Russia. He's going to meet with President Biden this week. How would you recommend Zelensky make his pitch?
I would say, Mr. President, the Russians are bombing our cities. When I arrived, by the way, in Kyiv on a Saturday morning at 1:30 in the morning, Kyiv was being attacked by Russia. When I was in Kharkiv, the Russians bombed an apartment building and created 35 casualties. So if I was President Zelensky, I would say, President Biden, the Russians are bombing our cities every single day, and you're not allowing us to attack the bombers when they're on the ground. This lengthens the war. It creates more Russian or Ukrainian casualties. It's creating gridlock. And in the end, it's playing into the hands of President Putin, who is doing this invasion. I think that's how I would look at President Biden and try to convince him to change his mind.
That's not the view of some of your fellow Republicans who feel that if Ukraine begins a bombing campaign inside of Russia, that could extend the war and increase the hostilities. What do you say to your fellow Republicans who oppose this change in policy?
You know, I'm a Ronald Reagan guy, was since I was 13 years old. I love Eisenhower. Unilateral disarmament or unilateral tying your own hands does not work when you're dealing with a barbaric dictator that created this invasion, which is Putin. I have moral clarity on what's going on here. Putin is invading Ukraine, wanting to take him over. He wants to eliminate Ukraine as a country and just make it all Russia, get rid of the Ukrainian language and so forth. You don't defeat Putin by allowing him to do attacks that are not responded to, or you don't respond back in kind and go after the bombers and the areas of Russia that are attacking Ukraine cities. I think that just emboldens him. Now, he's going to use this blackmail and bullying and intimidation. I don't think it works. Who should fear more? I'd rather Putin fearing us instead of us fearing him. And I think our president, in particular our national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, are being too tentative, and they're doing too much hand-wringing, and it's hurting us. It's hurting Ukraine win this fight.
And before we go quickly, we're going to avoid a government shutdown this week. Can you promise us that?
I give it a 98% surety that we will not have a shutdown. There's always that 2%, but I know the speaker's heart. The speaker knows that a shutdown is bad politics, and it's bad governance, and to do it right before an election is just plain stupid.
Okay, Congressman Don Bacon, you always come with the straight answers. We appreciate that, sir. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.